Sometimes you just need a little luck of the draw, and Diego got exactly what he needed. So we've had two pretty back-and-forth games, some exciting matchups so far. Looks like these decks are a little more evenly matched than we first thought. But, yeah, once Diego dropped down that Crobat, you saw just how powerful that was.
Right. Although, again, it's interesting. Like, Diego got that. He got up to one Crobat that game.
Yeah.
Normally, these decks that are playing the Zubat to Crobat line will get 3 to 5 activations of those off in a game.
I mean, he's got 4 Zubat, 4 Golbat, 3 Crobat, and he's been able to, like, evolve one line each game.
Yeah, so it's just been really tight on Diego's side. It feels like if his deck ever like hits all cylinders on that bat line, that it's really gonna like shut down Martin pretty quick. But it hasn't happened yet, so it could keep going in that direction.
Yeah, and part of that just might be the pressure that Night March provides. You know, you can always sit back and say, oh yeah, if I got all my big stage 2 setup, oh yeah, I would totally beat you. But sometimes when you're just attacking someone immediately and hitting them immediately, they don't have much time to get all these Pokemon set up, right? They're always on the back foot having to get more and more stuff down just to avoid losing. So putting on pressure is the easiest way to shut down a complicated strategy.
So again, we'll have another interesting strategic point coming from Martin. He lost that second game, so now he gets to decide who goes first. And since Night March likes to attack early and often, he might choose to go second, like we saw last night, where both Night March players wanted to go second.
Yeah, especially because time is running down. Right, we only have 50 minutes per round, and the game has to complete for it to count. If all the prize cards aren't taken, then it will end in a tie. So that might factor into your decision as well. Thinking, I want to go second so I can get knockouts right away.
Right. So both players have a basic Pokemon in their opening hand. So we will get this going. Just under 6 minutes left, it looks like.
So, I mean, we saw it happen yesterday. We can easily see a quick game. But here we go. Game number 3, and Martin will be going first in this one.
Right. So looking to get himself more set up as opposed to get the very first attack off.
Yeah, so starting off with a Battle Compressor, exactly what he wants to see. Going to search out those Lampent, I'm sure, and just get those in the discard right away. Those are your easiest targets for Battle Compressor.
Right. As we mentioned before, Lampent, we don't even play Litwick in the deck. It's only there because it has the Night March attack. So it's always a completely dead card in your hand, always a really good card in your discard pile, always the highest priority target for that Battle Compressor.
Right, so it looks like overall pretty strong start for Martin. Nope, as he fumbles his deck. If I had $1 for every time I did that. Of course, playing with real cards, so we are humans. We do make mistakes. Sometimes you shuffle and you completely miss and throw your cards everywhere.
Right, and again, with the time pressure here, you might be playing a little fast trying to do that, and of course, that's when those manual dexterity mistakes happen the most.
Oh yeah. All right, so we do see Martin has 2 Joltik in his hand. He's thinking about benching them. You know, they're pretty big targets for Landorus. EX's Hammerhead. Decides to put 1 down. He does not want to lose by being benched out.
Right.
Hawlucha with Strong Energy, Muscle Band, Fighting Stadium can knock out Mew EX on the first turn. So, yeah, Joltik is a big target, but it would be really bad if you didn't draw another Pokemon off this end.
Right, and it also makes sure that if that happens, that he also has something that can Night March.
Yeah. And it looks like he did draw into another Pokemon. He could put down Pumpkaboo right here. Going to go for Trainer's Mail first. See what he gets off of this.
That looks like he's going to take that Computer Search, of course.
That's probably one of your best targets off of Trainer's Mail.
And then at this point, he's got a couple different options he can go for. It looks like he's going to hit his town map. That way he doesn't have to guess where everything is. A couple interesting cards. He's got one of his Lampets there. He's got a Mew EX there. He's got a Versus Seeker. He has kind of a wide variety, so he's got kind of a normal distribution of prize cards this turn.
Yeah. And we do see the Computer Search discarding this Joltik, getting another Night March Pokemon in the discard pile, along with that Professor Juniper. I don't believe Martin has attached an energy at this turn, so he may be trying to dig for an energy card. Grabs that Shaman EX with the Computer Search. Just trying to draw some extra cards so you can get some energy on board.
Right. He could have just gone straight for the energy, but he's taking the odds that playing the Shaman and drawing that bunch of cards will give him a better chance at getting an energy and something else. And there it is right off the top.
Yep, so he does draw that double colorless energy. He can drop that down onto Pumpkaboo. At this point, though, got to look back to the clock. I mean, there's under 3 minutes. He's taking a pretty long turn here. It looks like it's going to be really difficult to take enough prizes to win in time.
Yeah, both players are really going to be hitting that time pressure here pretty quick.
Yeah. And, a tie isn't the worst thing in the world, but, you get 3 points for a win in a match, 1 point for a tie. So, one tie is not going to hurt you, but in the long run, you need to be winning games.
Right. Both of these players know that, so they are going pretty quick here. Martin, though, needs to be doing a bunch of different transactions. Everything that he needs to do to get all those Night March Pokemon take time, and shuffling your deck that many times is really just draws down on the amount of time it takes.
Yeah. And he's deciding where to put this energy. There's a chance Mew EX could be knocked out. Might decide to put it on Pumpkaboo because that's probably pretty safe on the first turn. And, drops the Double-Colorless on Pumpkaboo. And this has been his first turn. It's been a pretty long one. Going to extend even further with another setup from Shaman EX.
Right. Like we saw last game, Martin almost probably more than halfway through his deck, and it's only his first turn. And Diego just doesn't do that much as much card drawing as that.
Yeah, we do see Ultra Ball right away from Diego. Already getting Zubat down, so already a little bit of a better start for him than we've seen in the previous games. Gets the second Zubat down. That's going to be scary for Martin if Diego can start evolving those right away. Do see, the strong energy and the muscle band. So there's Juniper. If he can find Fighting Stadium, he can get 2 prizes on his first turn.
That would be really big. It'd also get rid of one of the muscle bands on Martin's side, which is important for knocking out those EX Pokemon.
So we just need to see a Fighting Stadium out of Diego. He is running 2 of them if he can manage to find one. But no, looks like he's going to have to settle for the Flying Press for just 100 damage.
Right, so that Mew hanging on just barely doesn't get the knockout. Going back over to Martin. Martin's really got to figure out some speed here. One thing that might be on Diego's slight advantage is because he gets a lot of knockouts from not attacks, just by being able to play down those Crobats, Zubats, etc. He might be able to get enough prizes here, but again, it's going to be pretty close on time here really soon.
Oh, yeah. So we do see the Double Colorless going on to the Mew EX. He can Night March using Joltik's Night March. He can go ahead and take the knockout on that Howlucha, just taking 1 prize card. Going to see if there's anything else he can do on his turn. Thinking about it, this matchup, the more we see it now that the Golbat and Crobat are coming out, this might be a matchup where Martin's actually happy to take a tie. Usually, you're probably assuming to lose this matchup. So if you're in this spot, you might actually be playing to tie instead of win.
Right. We see the Joltik come up front there. It's probably has a really good shot of getting knocked out from a Hammerhead anyway, so he might as well let that go up front. And we do see that time's been called. They were figuring out the 3 extra turns. And so unless Martin just has a big blockbuster turn here, I don't see either of these players finishing the game.
Yeah, I think we can kind of see it on Martin's face saying, there's no way we can take enough prizes to win this game. We're both at 6 prizes each. I don't see anybody taking 6 prizes in 2 turns, and I think Diego's starting to realize that as well. I'm trying to think if there's any possible way to pull this off. With enough Golbat and Crobat, maybe you can really start dropping a bunch of damage counters, going after those Shaman EX. But yeah, if you can't even Lysander out of Shaman this turn, it's going to be pretty tough.
Right, and Martin did take the safe play last turn and did a Sky Return instead of a Night March to dodge any knockout on that Mew EX. It is getting end away. But yeah, just nothing is set up for either player to get 6 prizes here in these next 2 turns.
Yeah, it is interesting. If we had maybe just like a few more turns, maybe we could start to see a lot of prizes being taken, but this is just way too early in the game.
Yeah, although Martin is stalling out a little bit on his Crobat engine, not seeing the Golbats that he needs to get those next stage up. Had to just Ultra Ball for one right there.
Yeah, you would think running 4 of them, he would draw into a couple eventually, but no, he has to Ultra Ball for that Golbat. Diego's going to put 2 damage counters on the Pumpkaboo. Go for the Super Scoop Up as well. Gets heads, picks up the Golbat, puts it back down on the other Zubat. puts 2 more damage counters on Pumpkaboo. So he actually will take a 2-prize turn and take a pretty big lead in this game. But again, you have to take all of your prize cards before time is up.
Right. So he's going to be giving it a shot, but he's only got 1 more turn. I don't see him getting 4 prizes on his next turn.
Yeah, probably not. If he could have, I don't know, gotten another Zubat down and had 2 Golbat in play so he could get like a double Crobat drop next turn, that's a lot of damage. Then you can take a lot of prizes in a turn. But the way that played out, there's just not enough damage for him to do next turn. He can evolve to a Crobat, put 3 damage counters on, evolve to Golbat, put 2 more damage counters on. But right now, putting 5 damage out doesn't even knock anything out. So I don't see any way that he takes 4 prize cards.
Yeah, and Martin's not going to do anything like put a Joltik on his bench or to help Diego out there.
Yeah, but if you're Diego, I guess there's no harm in playing it out, right? I mean, maybe Martin accidentally puts down Joltik and gives you a chance to win. I've seen things like that happen before. So it doesn't hurt to play it out.
Right, you're going to get the tie anyway, so maybe your opponent makes a mistake and you can pull the win.
Yeah. So Martin's going to attach that muscle band to Pumpkaboo, and I think on Martin's side, it's just worth playing out to, make sure Diego can't take all of his prizes. Try to knock out that Landorus and make it even more difficult for him to do anything. So he's going to be trying to get a big Night March off to get a knockout. And, this is Martin's last turn. He's turn 2 of time. Diego will be turn 3, and then time will be up. So Martin only has 1 turn, and as far as I know, there is no attack that allows you to take 6 prizes at once.
Not that's currently in print that we can do, but we do have that end going off, trying to take Diego down, reduce his cards, just to, again, make more and more sure that he doesn't have some kind of explosive 4-prize turn there.
Yep, so we do see the N and an Acro Bike getting another Acro Bike.
Right.
And then this time getting either an Ultra Ball or a double colorless energy. At this point, it really doesn't matter which one of those 2 cards you would take.
Right.
He already has a double colorless in his hand. Trainer's Mail going to dig even deeper and doesn't take anything.
Yeah, his bikes weren't quite as perfect as they were in his last game there, where he was able to keep feeding his discard pile more Night March Pokemon. Puts a double colorless down on that Pumpkaboo. There's no Dimension Valley in play yet, so he still can't even do his Night March unless he finds one of those.
Yeah, so he's going to search for that Shaman EX, try to set up for some extra cards. And, he can go ahead and do that. Draws 5 off of this. Trying to draw Dimension Valley. Looks like he did find it.
Yep, he does finally get that out there. See if he has enough to knock out Landorus.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So yeah, more than enough to knock out that Landorus EX with the muscle band attached. So he will take 2 prize cards, tie up the game. But this is the last turn of the game. Diego is the 3rd turn of extra time. And unless he can collect all 4 of his prize cards, looks like this one's going to end in a tie.
Right. And the only way he would be able to do that, since one of the Pokemon out there is the Pumpkaboo, is he would have to be able to knock out 2 Shaman EX at least.
Yeah. And that's going to be pretty difficult. He just does not have the setup at this point to be able to do that kind of a massive turn. But he is going to go out in style and skill dive. And the players shake hand knowing that this match has ended in a tie. 2 very, very close games. Great matches. But at the end of the day, I mean, they're pretty evenly matched and they tie.
Yeah, interestingly enough, and we saw this last night, I wonder if Diego should have conceded that first game earlier. He really got into a point where he wasn't going to be able to win. And I don't know, maybe it wasn't completely obvious what was going on. But since it looked like he really had no chance to win that game, just wasn't going to be able to pull it out, it might have been better served for him if he would have conceded that first game, had some extra time in this last game. He had his bat engine going. He probably was going to take that game if he had enough time.
Yeah, probably. I mean, you can see it from a different point of view. I mean, when you face a Night March deck with this deck, you're probably like, oh, I have such a good matchup against this deck, and it's hard for you to conceive that you're actually going to lose a game to it. And then you play it out, and it's, oh, wait, I actually lost this game. So maybe not conceding, thinking well, I should probably win this, right? And then you end up taking up a lot of time, and you end up not having enough time for the third game.
Right. Clock management's so important right now, so people got to make sure that they're watching it from both sides, both using the time that they need, and if they need extra time, to be conceding to kick through that as soon as possible. Since we had a tie, we won't have a winner interview.
Unfortunately. But we're going to take a quick little break here. When we come back, we'll be returning with the Video Game World Championships. So stay tuned for that. We're going to have some great VGC action for you.